There's no, oh, we're going to have that. It doesn't exist.
Right.
If you, I mean,
I can only speak for myself.
No, I was talking to a friend who's doing masters at SOAS. I won't mention who's literally it was after on Friday, and he was doing a course on the Quran, and he was taught that the Quran story about the Noah and the flood are derived from earlier Mesopotamian myths.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I'm thinking, really? Now that's the genetic kind of fallacy, because there's a similarity with an older mythological story, therefore it's just myth. Maybe there are multiple accounts, and behind those narratives lie a reality, an actual flood that happened in Mesopotamia.
But then there was narratives before the narrative as well.
No, but the a priori commitment to that being the explanation is the danger. But actually, if one is to investigate those possibilities and then just weigh them up or say, well, look, these are the options, let's have a look at them and try to be as objective as we can.
But the HCM doesn't allow that, because it doesn't. It starts off by saying that prophets who predict the future are not datum of history. They are to be seen as late, they're mythological, they're legendary, they're not objectively real. I mean, I referenced Nikolai Sinai's book. But HCM doesn't normally allow that, because it doesn't allow God's intervention in history as a factor that historians can quantify and say, this happened.
An Islamic approach wouldn't make space for the HCM approach. So they're both as close to each other as...
I think it does, a modified form of historical critical method. So I meant Ibn Khaldun, a multidisciplinary, he was able to look at societies historically in terms of their systems and their ups and their downs and so on, without any reference to revelation explicitly necessarily. But he was also aware that God is in control of history, and that we don't live in a secular world. So he was able to have different registers, different epistemologies. The HCM only has a secular register. So the datum of revelation is simply not taken into account. And Islamically, that is unacceptable, because God exists and has given and has spoken to mankind through the gospel and the Torah and the Quran or whatever.
Can I ask an important question? So, you see all these, teachings and concepts in different religions.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned in
Zoroastrianism.
And it's also available in different religions, like Judaism, Islam. It's the same exact concept. So my question is, with some
variations on
with some variations. Yeah. Okay. So my question is, if we, for example, take the teachings you mentioned earlier,
Zarathustra.
Yeah, it first came up in these teachings,
right,
by this person.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Who gave it to him? How did it come to him? Is it like
through revelation?
Through meditation? Is it through God? Because you also mentioned...
It came from something, we can agree on that.
You also mentioned monotheism, meaning that there is one God to worship. So did it come through God?
That there is one creator.
Yeah. So did it came from that creator? And if it did came, did it also maybe in some part of history, prehistory to that point, was also some teachings to different civilization, predated that civilization?
I mean, we can speculate on whether those teachings reached other people. I find it sometimes more beneficial just to look at the evidence we have, rather than speculating on what may have happened to which we cannot attest with evidence.
We can do that, but I still want to understand where did it come from. Because if it came from a person, no difference than me, why should I accept it and take it?
I would be more interested in the value of the message necessarily than the person.
Forget about the words of a person. You just want to learn if it's valuable.
If there is a valuable
because
message
that's what's timeless. No human is timeless.
If there is a message of value that was revealed 3,500 years ago, let's say, and if that hadn't happened and the message arrived today, would it be of any less value?
So these values are supposed to be like something good for us. Yeah, if we follow it, it will work, and it will bring peace and
I certainly
prosperity.
imagine that the parts of that message that are congruent with the ones that you see in your own belief system, you would you would agree are valuable.
I didn't even come to this part of
So I'm saying
history or future.
if he spoke about the idea of personal responsibility for one's actions, personal judgment for one's righteous or evil deeds during the course of one's life, if that echoes something that you hear in your own teachings, then naturally you would think that's a theme of value, right?
That maybe not.
It may not have started there.
System of belief. It may be natural. It may be
There's no
natural.
historical proof of it.
Yeah.
Then
It started with that.
No historical bit. So this is back to the secular
Maybe
methodology
natural-
again.
natural
It's
free
only
will.
what can be verified by secular historians that it's true.
I can't comment on evidence I don't have.
So I like to believe or think, not believe or
Right.
think, that could be natural.
So these are your
in
presuppositions.
humans.
Yeah. That's a good word.
Presuppositions.
Think.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
So what give me proof that this is not something natural in human to act like this, to take responsibility in his action or their action. And it started with that book.
So sorry, give you proof that. Say again. Just
What, how can we verify?
that it's not something natural for man to believe
it
that he'll be
started with
judged
that, yeah.
for his personal actions.
That it actually just
And these
the
values
first ever,
started with this book.
first ever exposition of that idea was through Zoroaster. How do we know that?
No, I don't make the claim that he's the first to have ever said
But
it.
he's earlier than.
However, it's evident to
But
me
we
that
made,
it's the
earlier we
earliest
made the
record
claim
of
that
this claim.
other religions
Yeah.
took from that, or like
Well, I would have to build a case for that. So I kind of began to do that with the timing of certain new statements in the biblical corpus, which seem to coincide with the arrival of a new group of people and then the development of those ideas during that period. I mean, you can take it or leave it, but it seems like an interesting.
That's the whole point.
It seems like an interesting path of investigation, perhaps to try to build a coherent thread of events.
I think that the problem is if one's looking at the genealogy, the origin of these ideas, on the human level, because you will believe the existence of demons and Satan, for example. If Mesopotamians brought this, Zoroastrians brought this idea across to Judea, it doesn't mean it came from Judea. This is objectively real. These entities exist. They're bearing witness to the truth, or they are evidencing the truth
I think all it
of
shows
these
is
things.
that one group of people believed it,
No,
and then another group
no.
of people came to believe it.
but it says much more than that, because
But you're saying they exist. Just
no, but we know they exist anyway, so that they
how
are.
do you know they exist?
What, you don't?
You believe they exist.
No, it's not a question of my belief. They do exist. It's not a question of my beliefs or my thinking, any more than I believe.
What we're referring to specifically.
No, it's like saying I believe the sun exists. Well, it's much stronger than that. The sun does exist.
You're conflating
I
believing
can
the
actually
sun
point to.
exists with believing angels. And
Yes, absolutely.
So explain how you would verify that the same way you would verify the sun exists.
Verify. Well, through experience would be one way. So humanity, well, the accounts of Legion, you can Google them. Humanity has always encountered angelic beings and demonic beings in all religions, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism. And so this is, and also human beings have always experienced the existence of the sun, I would
We're
suggest.
experiencing it now.
Yeah, but
I'm not experiencing angels and demons.
No, I'm not saying how to experience 24 hours a day on
I
tap.
haven't experienced them.
But human beings in general have experienced the James.
maybe you haven't came to the
Well, yeah, but they claim to see the sun as well.
We are seeing the sun right now. I
Yeah,
don't know how you conflate
but
those ideas.
there's lots of things I can't see that I know are real. I can't see subatomic particles. I can't see laws of
But we can
physics.
measure them.
I
We can
can't see.
calculate
I
them.
can't see your consciousness, your mind. Can I see your?
Was there an experiment
There are
to
lots of
measure-
things.
to measure the existence of or the presence of demons?
Yeah.
I think.
Here's how we know. I'm saying that empirically, that through our experience, human beings have known the existence of these phenomena always, in virtually all religious traditions. Secularism denies their existence because it's a post-Enlightenment Western European white male
I don't
construct.
reject their existence, but you say you know they
No,
exist.
I'm saying that secularism. You may not, but secularism does reject them a priori as factors.
Secularism per
So,
se.
a good example. If you look at the Gospels, Jesus portrayed as someone who exorcised demons from people. It's all over the Gospels, and he was a miracle worker. Now, secular historiography would dismiss all that as myth.
But do you object to the idea of comparing
on this topic,
angels and demons with the reality of
You
angels
asked how
and
we
demons
knew
with the reality of
things.
the sun?
You asked how we knew things. I'm saying through experience, and we have different kinds of experience.
It's somehow different because
Experience
it's
is
not
different kinds of
visible.
experience, but it's still experience based. You know, I can't access your mind. I have no knowledge that your mind is
I'd
real,
be
and I
fascinated
can't
to
prove
know
that.
your personal experiences of
Yeah.
these phenomena.
Well, we can have a private conversation. I can talk to you about these things, but it is very widely attested in the literature. For example, in the book, William James's book, The Varieties of Religious Experience, like a seminal work of the early 20th century. He's a pioneer of psychology. Well, hang on a second. Can I ask you, as I'm trying to explain?
Sorry.
And he's a psychologist, and he narrates a lot of these things, some numerous accounts across a wide variety of different backgrounds of people. So it is a very frequently attested experience. I'm saying Western secular methodology tends to exclude that as a valid source of knowledge about the real world out there. And when it comes to, say, religious works like the Gospels, where Jesus portrayed as exercising people, it will typically not see these as actually real objective experiences, actual accounts of what Jesus did. And I'm saying that is to betray the reality of what it could well have been real. They could have been made up stories, but in principle they could have happened, actually. But secularism will always reject them.
Everyone can agree on that it could have happened.
Yeah.
Everyone can agree. That's one thing everyone.
But secularism will reject it as historical.
It would reject it, but
Thank you. That's my point. It would reject it.
but that's far away.
to
But
verify?
hold on, they could be real. Is a mile away from. We know they're real. That's a different statement.
An openness to reality is not something I've noticed in secular writers on this subject. And the example of demons is always now in our materialist West explained away as a function of mental illness or disturbance or hallucination. And that again is a materialist prejudice, a secular prejudice against a phenomena that is widely evidenced and known in mankind. And this is doing a disservice to the truth, because demons and angels do exist. So this is the problem.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay, we can agree to disagree, that's fine.
And witchcraft. Then
Thumbs up from the back there.
you don't believe. So there is no such.
I don't believe in them.
Oh,
such
some.
an act to do magic
I don't believe in
and
demons.
interact
No.
with
We have to
this.
define what a demon is.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, no, come on. We're all when they say demon, yeah, we're all like disagreeing with each other, but we all
What
kind
about
of
jinns then?
we all
Jinns. You
agree.
don't call them jinns, right?
Who's you lot?
Muslims.
No, but
He's not a Muslim. He's got a beard, you're a Muslim, right? Yeah.
Sorry, I do apologise.
No apology needed.
But I don't like that
It's
either.
easily done. Don't
Sorry,
worry.
exactly,
brother.
exactly.
But don't the Muslims believe in jinns?
Yes.
Yeah? And what are jinns to you?
Do you believe in jinns?
Do I believe jinns are
Demons, devils.
You get good and bad jinn, can't you? You can get
So
good
you and them are in
communities and
agreement
bad.
with that then?
Yeah.
You and the brother here is on
Yeah, I
the
agree they exist.
Yeah, the unseen realm actually exists, and it actually interacts with this world and changes things. People have encounters with demons and angels. They make a difference, and there's masses of evidence that this happens in the world. The evidence is there. We don't want to see it in the West because it goes against our materialist prejudices about the nature of reality. I'm saying reality is different from the Western paradigm and includes all of these areas of life which do make a difference in the real world. Those of us who believe in God and believe in the unseen have experienced this stuff.
I'm talking, go away, brother.
Billions of people have.
I mean, just from a personal perspective, I don't
Yeah.
rule out the idea of a spiritual realm or higher dimension, whatever you want to call it. I don't necessarily just ascribe to a given description of what that is. I don't think we can just define it or defer to some revelation.
No, I'm saying we shouldn't. What the Western paradigm does, it explains it away as psychiatric illness and so on. I'm saying that is erroneous and based on a false understanding of reality. It's not that. It's not that the West doesn't recognize it. It does try to debunk it. It falsifies it. That's my problem. It's much more hostile than just saying, "Oh, we don't know." It actually goes out and says to people, "If you testify to these things, you will be referred to a doctor." That's my problem.
Can I ask you a simple question, right? Where does
Sorry, everyone wants to comment. Yeah.
Brother Paul,
So
how
you're
are you?
listening. Listen to the
Alhamdulillah.
question, big man.
Oh,
Where
sorry.
does dreams come from?
Big man.
Where do what come from?
Dreams.
Where do dreams come from?
This discussion earlier. I suspect they're like a
Projection
function of the brain.
Function of the brain. I've had this discussion earlier about the dream side.
It may be a portal to some more like a spiritual dimension.
You know the best way to look at all of these things is, you know, like the spiritual realm, the spiritual
Yes,
realm,
good
the
question.
unseen. Before, simple ways to go about it is this. Now, why do we believe in the unseen as Muslims? Fundamentally, it's because we believe in the prophethood of the Prophet. Now, if the Prophet, peace be upon him, tells us that there's something called a jinn, or there's something called heaven and hell, then we believe in him because we believe in the evidence for his prophethood. Once you establish evidence for his prophethood, then whatever he says is the truth.
I didn't even realize you were here. Sorry.
Let me just finish, yeah?
He's not a Muslim, by the way. He's not a Muslim.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because he doesn't accept the premise of your
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
the best way to, like, instead of saying, oh, do jinns exist or not, the best thing is, the one who tells you about jinns, who's the prophet, ask the question, is he a real prophet? Because if you argue that he's a real prophet, and the deduction follows that he is, with all the evidence that he comes with, then whatever he says after that is all true. Because
How
he's
do you
prophet.
determine if he's a true prophet?
That's a good question.
That's a much bigger question, but I'd rather defer to this gentleman's approach, which is to defer to
Experience. Yeah, it's an empiricist approach. I'm not denying revelation. I'm just saying that there's also a wider appeal here to experience. Yes, I agree.
I love the Bible. That's why
Can I ask you?
Oh, as a Christian.
I asked the brother two questions because he's saying about the prophet. I want to get his understanding of life because I want another one to ask him his age, and then I'm going to ask him the same thing. You feel emotions, you have dreams, and where do they come from?
Listen. You got love for it, yeah. So obviously you got love for the Quran and Prophet Muhammad.
I got a love for the Bible and the prophets of the Bible.
Okay. The true meaning behind it is it's not proof. You just have admiration for it. Am I wrong?
No, but why do... I obviously have admiration for the Quran, but I don't
No,
just
but
believe
you're
in...
saying there's proof of the Bible because of admiration.
No, because it's been fulfilled. There's prophecies that's been
Yeah,
fulfilled.
but you're admiring it now.
Yeah, I'm admiring it now because there's prophecies that haven't been fulfilled that are being fulfilled now.
It's not about admiration.
You understand?
It's about believing logically it is the truth.
Does it not come down to how do you tell someone my book is better than your book? Please don't. How do you tell
It's
someone?
not about better. I'm telling you.
Ezekiel 36
No, yeah, well, it was truth better than falsehood.
Palestine.
Let's go to that.
Yeah.
The Quran says,
That's a
قُلْ
prophet
هَاتُوا
1,000 years ago.
بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. That bring your evidence if you're truthful. Yeah? So everything is based on evidence, you know. Now the Quran says, that if you don't think that this book has been revealed from God, then produce a chapter like it. Yeah? So there's evidences which I'll continue from that are external to the Prophet and the Quran that proves the prophethood of the Prophet. For example, one of them is the historicity of the Quran. And the Quran contains historically accurate information that was impossible to know at the time of the Prophet.
That's what I made the claim to you earlier, but you said to me.
Number two, there's prophecies of the Prophet and the
claim.
Quran, prophecies.
I'm not here to.
Yeah. I'll hear your claim. You know what I mean? And I respect.
I'm gonna go.
And I'll tell you the same thing. There you go. Like you can say that. That's fine.
you to
But
challenge.
I'm not.
God almighty, covered in these things. It's like insects. I think that's it. Thank you. Am I free of insects?
I'll tell you my subjective belief. That's what I mean. But I don't classify myself as. No, I don't think you are. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it was a 1-2.
Do you believe you should follow? Yes, that's the one. Just follow who, you know what I mean, giving you. I don't know how to explain it properly. But yeah, I believe you feel.
We're gonna go in 1 second.
I'd like to see it. Just someone to learn. That's why.
Yeah, thank you.
Like how they can like maintain their I'm just saying that that should be the rule. I think it should be that's a good tip, isn't it? These are just like everyone now. You guys should be better. Like, should understand that. You understand that. Well, like, guys who are like clearly on the head, just like going down to the level. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, let's say someone's doing it for the first time. That's